everyone, it's Whitney. Welcome to 29-Minute Meals, where I show you how to make a delicious recipe in 29 minutes or less with 1 minute of fun at the end, because we all like an extra minute in our lives to do something fun. Every episode is going to be a different minute of fun at the end, so you have to stay tuned to see what this minute is going to be all about. But first, let's get to the recipe. Today I'm making one of my favorite winter meals, which is a 29-minute sweet potato soup. Yes, you can make a really delicious soup in only 29 minutes. So it takes less than 9 minutes to prep and then 20 minutes of roasting the sweet potatoes in the oven. So let's get started. I've got 2 pounds of chopped sweet potatoes that have been peeled, and I'm gonna add to that 1 cup of diced onion. You don't have to make it a fine dice, just a large dice, because at the end we're gonna puree everything anyway. And then we've got 2 teaspoons of fresh rosemary, and we've got a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of cinnamon, 4 cloves of garlic, and then we're gonna pour over that a 1/4 cup of olive oil. So this recipe was actually inspired by a recent trip I took to Jamaica. My boyfriend and I stayed at Couples Resorts, which was awesome. And we had a 5-course dinner at one of the restaurants. And the first course was this creamy sweet potato soup that my boyfriend Kurt would not stop talking about once we got back. And so I had to make it. And it just so happens that I came up with this recipe and absolutely fell in love with it. And it just happens to be really quick and easy. All right, so now what I've done after I've tossed everything together is I've foil lined a baking sheet. You don't have to do that, but I really like to line my baking sheet with nonstick foil because it just makes cleanup so much easy. And who doesn't like easy cleanup? Cooking is my favorite part, cleaning up, my least favorite part. All right, so now we've got everything basically on an even layer on the baking sheet. I've already preheated my oven to 425 degrees, so I'm gonna pop these in the oven, and after they've roasted, we're gonna puree them up with some vegetable broth and some cream. Yum. All right, our sweet potatoes have been roasting for 20 minutes, and now they are nice and tender and ready to be pureed for our sweet potato soup. So I'm gonna take my tongs, I'm gonna grab the sweet potato, and I'm gonna divide this in half because I don't have a huge blender. If you have a huge blender or food processor at home, you can do it in 1 batch, but I'm gonna do it in 2. So put about half of my roasted sweet potatoes with onions and garlic into the blender. And you know, if you drop a couple, oh, it's so good. All right, now we're going to add vegetable broth. So you're gonna add about 4 to 6 cups, you know, depending on how thick you want this soup. But since I'm dividing it in half, I'm gonna add about 2 to 3 cups for this one. And then we're going to add half a cup of cream total, so I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of cream, so I'm dividing it in half. And then we're gonna put the lid on and blend away. So creamy, and it smells so good. This is a great weeknight soup recipe because it's so quick and easy, but especially like today is a rainy day in San Diego, so this is really great to warm up to. And like I said, you can add however much vegetable broth that you want to it, just so that it's a perfect consistency for you. And then I like to add a little creme fraiche on top, but that's, once again, totally up to you. And I'm gonna take a little bite. Rich, creamy, you get the cinnamon notes and a little bit of rosemary. I just love those flavors together. All right, guys, so be sure to grab this recipe on whitneybond.com or just follow along on 29-Minute Meals to make the recipe at home. And now it's time for Whitney's 1 minute of fun. The fun I have at the end of every episode of 29-Minute Meals, where I might share with you a giveaway or a pairing, whether it's beer, wine, or cocktail to go with the recipe that we just made. But you know what? Today, we're gonna talk about travel because like I mentioned, this recipe was inspired by my recent trip to Jamaica, and we also have an upcoming trip to Hawaii that I'm super excited about with my boyfriend. So I wanna know where you're excited to travel to or where your favorite place you've ever traveled to was. So use the hashtag Whitney's 1 Minute of Fun on Twitter or Instagram and share your favorite travel destinations or upcoming travel plans with me. I actually have my bestie, PK, here today, and he's gonna come over and share his favorite travel destination. How are you?
Doing great.
Thanks for all your help today. He's been helping me chop up sweet potatoes and rosemary so I can bring you guys these delicious recipes. But we're talking travel in Whitney's 1 Minute of Fun. So where's your favorite place to travel? Or you got any upcoming trips?
Down under, Australia.
Oh.
Yes, and then back out there next year.
Nice. That is somewhere I haven't been yet, but I want to go. So if you've been to Australia and that's your favorite place, or maybe Paris is your favorite place, or I'm from Oklahoma. Maybe Oklahoma's your favorite place to visit. We've got the Sooners and some Cowboys and good steak. I mean, PK's been. It's fun.
Yes, it's good.
All right, guys, this is Whitney's 1 Minute of Fun. Be sure to use the hashtag Whitney's 1 Minute of Fun on Twitter, Instagram. Share with us your favorite travel stories and try this sweet potato soup. It's so good. Try it. But seriously, it's so good. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Every Wednesday, there's a new episode of 29-Minute Meals on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Whitney and Bond. Subscribe, and you'll be notified every Wednesday when I post a delicious new recipe made in 29 minutes or less. I'm Whitney Bond. This was 29-Minute Meals. Thank you for watching.